morning. Good morning. Good to see everyone. Forgive me if it sounds like I'm going through puberty, but you can look at me and tell that's impossible. It's not true. But Happy New Year to everyone. We certainly thank everyone for being here. We have an opportunity and we've been blessed to see another year. So with that being said, I am calling this meeting to order, and at this time I'd like to call on Pastor Adrian Chester. We can stand as he do the invocation and remain standing as I do the pledge.
Let us pray. God, our hope in ages past, our hope for years to come, been our shelter from life's stormy blast, and you are our eternal home. We're grateful for this day, a new day that we have never seen before. And we're grateful for the opportunity to serve as stewards of the resources in which you have entrusted to us as your creation. So now we ask that your Spirit will guide this meeting, guide our deliberations, so that all in which we say, do, and think will honor you as we serve you by serving your people. It's in the name of Jesus we do pray. Amen.
Amen. We can all face the flag, please. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Pastor Chester. If you leave, we will not be held against you. We still love you, but you're more than welcome to stay. Thank you for being here. And again, thank you everyone for coming. Excuse me. At this time, Council, I'd like to call at this point that we do presentation, proclamation. We do have a presentation to make. The first one is recognizing retired police captain Michael Campbell for his 17 years of service. Okay. Campbell.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Mr. Hunter, I want to thank you all for allowing us to bring one of our retirees up here. Retired Captain Mike Campbell, who served 17 years with the police department, and recognize him and thank him for his service to the city and to the police department. We talked a little bit yesterday about the challenges we faced with staffing coming out of COVID. Things are starting to pick up. We're improving in that area. But we were hit, the city as a whole, as well as the police department, by COVID. And unfortunately, we lost our assistant chief, Gail Green, in the summer of 2020 to COVID. One person that had some devastating effects from COVID, and we almost lost him, as well as Mike Campbell, one of our captains, who was our division commander over the patrol division. One thing, and I know Mr. Hunter's big on this, is succession, having folks in place that are able to fill your shoes. And there were big plans for Mike. He was already a captain and a valued member of the command staff, but he could have went as far as he wanted to go in this, for the city and our organization. He could very well be standing here in my shoes or as the assistant chief. Have a lot of confidence in him, and he's truly missed. But Mike came to us from Tuskegee Police Department. He worked 2.5 years for Tuskegee. He was also a military Army veteran with 8 years at Fort Benning. So when he came to us, he had a good deal of leadership and a good work ethic already established. He quickly rose through the ranks. They saw a promise in him. He started in 2004, and within like 2 years, he was already a field training officer, training new people because we saw the value in him. He quickly rose through the ranks, through sergeant, lieutenant, up to the rank of command staff as commander of our patrol division. But he held several ranks, supervisory ranks, patrol sergeant, patrol lieutenant, investigator. When I was a patrol investigator, lieutenant investigator, he was one of the senior sergeants, and he's somebody that I leaned on heavily. He had a real way with people. He's very knowledgeable, and being smart and knowledgeable is one thing, and it'll get you a long way, but really your people skills, when you come in, taking care of people, valuing people, treating people right, that goes a long way as an individual police officer, as an investigator, working cases, because you're going to get a lot better results, better end result when we catch the bad guy, if people trust you and are willing to talk to you. But also, one thing I really love about Mike is how people, I hope you know this, Mike, the people, the department really love you, and you took care of your troops. as a sergeant, lieutenant, captain. And that's something, one thing that I do miss is in the mornings, meeting with you in the staff meetings and talking with you, talking about various, whatever problem you may face in the department and trying to figure out solutions. And I really really value your opinion and your judgment. And we're thankful for your service. 17 years, medically retired. I know you have a few more years left in the tank. And we didn't get to have a good, like a typical send-off, but we just had one for our public safety director, Ray Smith, who's sitting back there. But where we get to talk about the employee, talk about all they've done for the department, all they've done for the city. We didn't get to do that with Mike due to his health after suffering the devastating effects of COVID. So this is just a small chance, a little opportunity to thank you. We've got a plaque for you there, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Hunter, because I know he very much valued you as an employee and part of our command staff.
Thank you, Chief. I'm going to ask someone, Chief Smith, you come up. You're not gone yet.
I'm still here.
Because we had put that in motion before you retired. So I'll give this to you first. We had put this in motion before you retired. So.
Well, this was Chief Hunter's idea. Chief Hunter said, leave it out, we gotta remember who came before you was able to make sure that she was able to retire, because certainly Mike was one of those people that performed his job to it. Every day, he was not looking to see what was going to make Captain Campbell best. He was going to say, what's going to make the department best, what's going to make the league look the chief look good. And so I don't appreciate that, Mike, and what you've done to really make this department top notch, one of the best in the state and in the country. The discipline that you put forward, we really do miss that. I know we really miss that, because they need that. These young kids coming up, they need that leadership, and I appreciate it. You've done that. Certainly, your contributions to help me retire. And that not been for you, I might have been 5 years earlier or something like that. I'm not away because your wisdom and help keeping us out of trouble. So that's why we want to make sure that we appreciate, make sure you know you appreciate it when we see it. I see it. My favorite time is catching up with it in the public, right? Good to see you. Congratulations. And many, many more years of happy retirement. I'm thankful I'm part of the club now.
On behalf of the city of Phoenix City and the Phoenix City Police Department, I'd like to present you with this plaque in appreciation and recognition of your 17 years of dedicated and outstanding service to the city of Phoenix City.
Mike, I want to make sure I had opportunity. In 2020, it was pretty hard managing the city. Things with Steve Smith, our assistant city manager, myself and Gail, always knew I had a good system here. When I took over the city manager, and people that was moving up the lines, and we had a lot of great dreams and aspirations for every last one of y'all. You was one of those persons. We had a chance to play a little basketball before I started playing. So we had a good time together, but I always had a world of respect for you. And when a person suffers injuries in the line of duty, it is pretty tough when it interrupts their career. Because you was on the way up the line. But it's glad to see you looking good. It worried me to death, like killed me, So Chief kept me up a whole lot about it. But I want you to understand that this city of Phoenix City will always be a debt to you, and we'll never forget what you've done in the line of duty to see a lot of us.
Thank you. Y'all make me sound like I'm a good officer. But even though every day wasn't the best day, I really enjoyed working for the city. Even though my career was cut short, I really had a great career here. And I do miss it, but I did have to retire. And you guys didn't have to do this for me, and I'd like to say thank you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Officer thank you so much, for everything that you've done for this community. We appreciate you. I can tell that, the humility part of you, which is the best attribute that any of us can have. But it also shows, what type of person you are, with the number of people that has shown up to support you. And as I was telling a couple of council members, yeah, I just love the way you all support each other. So thank you so much for what you've done, and may God continue to bless you. And just don't forget us. Thank you so much. With that, next on the agenda is one of the things that has been put in place where you can't say enough to our employees in increments of 5 years, but this is an opportunity for us that the city manager put in place for employees that give of themselves, which is the greatest thing we can do. So with that being said, as we see our HR director, Stephanie Chastain, as well as our city manager, we now acknowledge these people who have been here for increments of 5 years or more. Stephanie?
Thank you very much, Mayor. This is a highlight for us. This is an opportunity that we can publicly thank and recognize our employees for their service and dedication that they put in each and every day serving our community. These are the anniversaries that we will be recognizing for the month of January. With our police department, we have Kilpatrick Thomas with 15 years of service.
All right, KT. Anything he has to say? You don't want to say anything? Well, listen, do at least 10 more, if not 15, okay? We appreciate it. Thank you. Ms. Chastain?
Also, with our police department, we have our assistant chief, Joey Wyrick, with 15 years of service.
Thank you. Any words? Anything?
I appreciate all the opportunities I've had over the last 15 years. It's been great. Doesn't seem like that long, it's been by real fast, so I look forward to at least 10 more. Although I won't do 35, I see my done it. Used to it. I might just do 10, but.
Well, maybe 30. Maybe 30. Thank you, Joe.
And our big recognition this morning. I'll talk loud. Our big recognition this morning is going to be Chief Bobby Brooks with the fire department, who's got his 35 years of service.
Thank you, Bob.
This is so love special. We come up, you can look at his grandmother's front porch, my grandmother's grandfather's front porch, our property border each other. It's basically a few of us from down there came up together and followed the school. So we come from the same place. We was raised together. And between the two of us, it was about 80 years of service here. And I always been a good employee. I was rough on him. Sometimes. But he's always performed, never been a problem. Always been a super young man, I call him, because we have that few years different when somebody's, follow you around as a kid. And it was something else, and the garden would stay together. Our grandmother's field together and stuff like that. He would always throw rocks. From one place to the other, So it's a joyous occasion to be able to be here with it to see this done.
Thank you, Bob. A few words?
Just thank you for allowing me to serve. And it's been a ride. And thank you for everything.
Thank you.
We have one other who was not able to be here. She works part-time with us in Parks and Recreation. And she was at her full-time job, but Miss Lisa Smith with 10 years of service, and we'll make sure we get our appreciation to her.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you all. And I always say that the most powerful 2 words that you can say when it's said sincerely, and this council is saying it sincerely. Thank you all so much for what you've done. And the ones that are out there still hanging in there with us, thank you all, and I just appreciate the camaraderie that you all have for each other, which is important. So it's a great example to start off the year with that, because that's something that we can teach our city. So with that, thank you all so much, and may God continue to bless all of you. Proceeding on at this time under the city clerk, I'd like to ask this council for a motion for the approval of the regular scheduled meeting minutes for December 16th, 2024 work session, as well as December 17th council meeting. And since we were all present.
Motion to approve.
All right, we got a motion. Councilman Davis, may I have a second? Second, Councilman Gordon. Mrs. Davis.
Councilmember Daines?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter? Yes. Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on the city council, at this time I'd like to ask the council if there's any unfinished business that needs to be discussed. Okay, if not, proceeding on resolutions under the administration. Is that we have resolution number 2025-01 to be ratified and reference to authorize and directing the mayor and city managers to hire A.N. Smith Company Incorporation to perform the removal, installation, and programming of a new nose road tank telemetry system in an amount not to exceed $5,125. This states.
Whereas emergency work is required on the Knowles Road tank telemetry to comply with ADM regulations. And whereas it is necessary that this work be performed as expeditiously as possible to try to restore accurate communication and monitoring between said tank and the water filtration plant. And whereas the radio communication system is obsolete and not operational, and it needs to be upgraded to cellular communications to restore accurate and reliable data collection. And whereas A.N. Smith Company, Inc. has submitted an estimate of $5,125 for the purchase, installation, and programming of the new PLC and modem components for this data system. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby declare the Knowles Road telemetry upgrade an emergency and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to hire A.N. Smith Company, Inc. to perform the removal, installation, and programming of new telemetry system in an amount not to exceed $5,125. Passed, approved, and adopted this 18th day of December 2024, ratified this 7th day of January 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Council, we've all heard this resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to ratify.
All right, we have a motion to ratify from Councilwoman Carter. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Comments or discussion? Okay. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on the administration, Council, we have resolution number 2025-02 to be ratified in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to enter into and sign an agreement with Russell County Commission to utilize A.N. scrap tire right-of-way program to help remove scrap tires within the city limits. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the city has a significant problem with the illegal dumping of scrap tires and has spent $14,884 in 2024 managing the problem. And whereas the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, ADM, is offering the scrap tire right-of-way program to Alabama counties to help remove scrap tires from the environment. And whereas Russell County has approached the city with an agreement to utilize the program to remove scrap tires within the city limits at no cost to the city. And whereas Russell County will provide a 40-yard roll-off dumpster to the city's landfill beginning in January 2025, and the county will pick up the dumpster monthly for the disposal of collected scrap tires. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to enter into and sign an agreement with Russell County Commission to utilize ADM's scrap tire right-of-way program. Passed, approved, and adopted this 31st day of December 2024, ratified the 7th day of January 2025.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis, for the reading of the resolution. Council, we've all heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask the council for a motion, please. We have a motion to ratify. Okay, we have a motion to ratify from Councilman Gordon. May I have a second? That's a second. Councilman Day? We have the motion, we have the second. Any comments, questions, or discussion?
Yeah, just a brief comment, Mayor. I'm just proud to see some type of relationship, a partnership to kind of get this under control. Our city has been innovative with illegal dumping of tires, as I see it, as my constituents tell me, and we've kind of talked about this off and on, but this is a resolution, this is a solution to that issue. But it won't help if our citizens continue to do, whomever is doing it, whether it's coming from neighboring cities or what have you. But this is a way that we can kind of get this under control. So I just want to thank City Manager and his staff for looking out for the best interests of our citizens here in Phenix City. It really is going to make a difference, I think.
Can someone tell us legally how this is gonna work, get rid of the tires? Do you put them in front of your house, do you bring them to the dumpster?
No, sir. This is strictly for illegally dumped tires on right-of-ways.
Right. The reason I'm asking that is it gonna make more people dump more illegal tires to get
We
rid
hope
of them?
not. We hope not.
I mean, it looks like it's gonna, and it's a wonderful thing. I'm not getting against what it's all being offered to do. But sometimes, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like letting your dog go eat your neighbor's food on his back porch rather than feed your own dog.
Right. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Is what I'm saying. How do people legally get rid of them then if they don't have this chance to do one or the other, they may turn to one way?
Right, so they can do it how our standards are now, where they have to pay $5, $6, or whatever, how big the tire is. The public works departments will leave a ticket on their door, and like I say, most of the time, once we do that, they're miraculously gone down the road on the.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they're definitely cheap.
But, people that wanna do right,
Wait a minute. The legal way is that wherever they get their new tires
Oh, it's
from,
supposed
they
to be
leave
on
them
the
there.
tire, yeah.
We don't need to get that confused.
No, I mean, but for the people that maybe buy used tires or whatever, they don't leave it, but yeah, I leave mine in half.
And they should, that's what they should be.
That's what
they charge.
At that place, so that business can pay to have them taken away like they're supposed to. This was put in place to help us clean up what all the illegal people have done.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, but I just know how
Yeah, I know.
people that don't want to follow the rules and regulations already.
Yes, yes.
And then again, they're already doing it. This is just a way to clean up what they're already doing.
Yes.
I just don't want to see it get increased, is what I'm saying.
It should, but they gonna be illegal.
But they gonna do it anyway.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I'm saying, it's no difference. I just want to see,
It just
make
gives us,
how legal people try to do it right.
what it does, it gives us a way in revenue that the state is helping us with, and what the citizens of Phenix City having to pay from the tax dollars
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Because we pay a tremendous amount of tax dollars out.
$1,600.
$1,600.
Yeah, we should not have to remove it to begin with.
Yeah,
So there's nothing wrong with this idea, this one lady who does it, and I'm glad that the county finally let us in on it, so to speak.
No.
Not totally.
Well, we in on it.
ADM done that. ADM
I'm just saying, that's illegal.
This what you gotta
I
realize.
don't know how to get.
If it's Russell County, the greater part, 80% of your population in Russell County is within Phoenix City. So Phoenix City is Russell County. And then you have Hurstburg, smaller, the municipalities of Russell County. And that's where we try to make sure it's laid out and stated right what they was doing, so they knew if you was gonna have the larger dumping areas, that was gonna be in Phoenix City. That portion of, and that's why ADM came back and said, make sure that Phoenix City is included. That's what this revenue is for. So that's why they told me to work through that, through the county wages.
And hopefully people will do it right, when you do have your tires changed, and you have to pay, whether it's $2 or $3 more than others.
And it's cheaper, I mean, realistically.
Or are they really
And it's probably
disposing them
used
the right way?
for the right reason. But thank you, that answers what I wanted to, because I just didn't quite understand. You know, it looks like it's twofold, but it's something that's gotta be done, because people are gonna continue to dump these tires.
And I'm not saying it's gonna take care of all of the money that we spend
Oh, it
on
can't.
illegal dump sites, because it's 40-yard dumpster once a month. So it's going to help the situation with the money flow and stuff like that. But yeah, really, we just need people to clean up.
Oh, yeah, well, if you just get 1 or 2 people to do
To
it,
do it.
then maybe 10 people to do it, then maybe 20 people to do it. And maybe they'll stop leaving them around. Some people may even leave them just thinking it's a joke or it's a giggle, because they can see them sit there for 6 months. Now, they don't see them sitting there, they may think it's somebody caught somebody, they don't want to get caught. I mean, you don't know what the outcome will be, so I think it'll work out well.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing, if helping the city save some money.
Oh, yeah.
There's other ones. Okay, any other comments or discussion? If not, I'd like to call for the vote, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, council, is a resolution number 2025-03 to be ratified in reference to authorizing and directing the mayor and city manager to hire war grading contractors and corporations to perform emergency work to the Village Green sanitary sewer main in an amount not to exceed $103,356. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas emergency work is required on a portion of sanitary sewer main behind Village Green Shopping Center on US Highway 280. And whereas it is necessary that this work be performed as expeditiously as possible to ensure public safety and stop a sanitary sewer leak. And whereas Ward Grading Contractor, Inc. has submitted an initial estimate to replace approximately 180 feet of said sanitary sewer main and repair a storm pipe at the location of the sanitary main in an amount not to exceed $103,356. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby declare the Village Green sanitary sewer main replacement an emergency and authorizes and directs the mayor and city manager to hire War Grading Contractor to perform said emergency work in an amount not to exceed $103,356. Passed, approved, and adopted this 31st day of December 2024, ratified this 7th day of January 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion after we've all heard the resolution. I'd like to ask for a motion to ratify.
Motion to, ratify.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Day, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. We have a motion, we have a second. Comments or discussion?
Yes, sir, I know that's $103,306. That work has already begun, I'm sure, is that right?
Yes.
Has it finished?
Yes.
Okay, when they do that, work like that, I'm sure that's a guarantee, but how long is the guarantee on that work?
Don't know, specific one, but it generally be like a 1-year warranty on contract work.
It's 1 year warranty? That includes parts and all that, is that right?
Now this, material we purchased, some of these vehicles, so.
Okay.
This would be just for the, not the materials.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Thank you. John? Any other comments, discussion? If not, at this time, council, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, council, on administration, is a public notice and setting and administrative care for the verification of business privilege license for Chaser Bar Lounge and Eats LLC, doing business as Stranger Sports Bar. Mrs. Davis.
Public notice. Notice is hereby given that the members of the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama will conduct an administrative hearing during the regularly scheduled council meeting at 9:00 a.m. on Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025, at the Public Safety Building located at 1111 Broad Street, Phoenix City, Alabama. The administrative hearing will be held in regards to the revocation of the following 2024 Phenix City Business Privilege licenses: on-premise beer, on-premise wine, and on-premise whiskey wine licenses for Chaser's Bar, Lounge, and Eats LLC, doing business as Kramer Sports Bar, located at 3211 Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway, South Unit B and C, Phenix City, Alabama, owned by Chandra N. Jenkins. At said meeting, all persons desiring to be heard on the above matter may appear before council at the aforementioned time and place. Passed, approved, and adopted this 7th day of January 2025.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Davis. As we've all heard the public notice said, at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion. Please, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve public notice.
All right, we have a motion from Councilwoman Carter. And a second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Bailey. Any comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Davis?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, council on the engineering department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing and directing the mayor and city manager to sign and enter into an agreement with Terracon to perform geotechnical engineering services on the municipal building in an amount not to exceed $8,850. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the city of Phoenix City is in the process of determining the feasibility of an addition to the existing municipal building. And whereas the city has solicited Terracon to perform geotechnical engineering services, including subsurface exploration and testing for Wright Engineering to begin design. And whereas Terracon has provided an agreement to perform the geotechnical engineering services in an amount not to exceed $8,850. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, does hereby authorize the mayor and city manager to enter into and sign an agreement with Terracon to perform the geotechnical engineering services on the municipal building in an amount not to exceed $8,850. Passed, approved, and adopted the 7th day of January 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Davis. At this time, council, I'd like to ask this council for a motion since we've heard the resolution. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilwoman Carter. Second. Second, Councilman Day. Any comments or discussion?
Yes, sir. Could we get somebody to elaborate on that project, Mr. Hunter, for us, for the citizens of Phoenix City, please? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Day. So, we've been tasked by Mr. Hunter to try to find an additional space for an additional building for municipal building employees. So right now, we're looking on the back parking lot. We're going to see what kind of soil borings we have there to see if it could actually stand up with another building there and how it would attach to the new one and everything like that. So this is the preliminary stuff. We need to know this information to let us know if we want to even go any further with these steps. Because if these aren't correct, if we don't have the right numbers, and there's no point in pursuing that area. So this is what this is. We're going to go up there and dig three holes up there just to see what we got with soil and everything like that. And then we'll get that information back, and then, we'll decide as a departments and stuff like that, if it's something that we will continue to pursue. This is just your basic stuff that you're trying to figure out what the soil bear of the building.
Okay, we were talking about the, on the existing parking lot in the back of the building.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Angie.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Any other comments or discussion? Not at this time, council. I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, council on the finance department is a resolution in reference to authorizing and directing an authorized signer on the general fund, utilities fund, and payroll checking accounts to sign ACH agreement with Phoenix Gerard Bank. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the City of Phoenix City has the need to initiate ACH transaction processing for the general fund, utilities fund, and payroll checking accounts held by the City of Phoenix City Gerard Bank. And whereas the current daily ACH transactions consistently exceeds the maximum total daily file limits and therefore needs increasing. Now therefore be resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize and direct an authorized signer on the general fund, utilities fund, and payroll checking accounts to sign the ACH agreements for these checking accounts with Phoenix Gerard Bank. Passed, approved, and adopted this 7th day of January 2025.
Okay, thank you again. The council, we've heard the resolution, and it's time I'd like to ask this council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Day, may I have a second? Second, Councilman Gordon. Any comments or discussion? Okay, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And also, council, proceeding on in the finance department, there's a resolution in reference to adopting the revised cash reserve policy to increase the emergency fund from $4,500,000 to $7 million. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas the city of Phoenix City has an obligation to its citizens to maintain a prudent fiscal policy. And whereas in Resolution 2013-20, the city established a cash reserve policy to maintain operating cash reserves in the general fund sufficient to pay the obligations of the city from 90 to 120 days, and an emergency fund of $2 million with the express intent to increase this amount as condition allows. And whereas in Resolution 2021-212 and 2023-223, the city amended the cash reserve policy to increase the emergency fund to $3 million and $4,500,000 respectively. And whereas the financial condition of the city has improved to allow for another increase of the emergency fund to $7 million. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama does hereby adopt the revised cash reserve policy to increase the emergency fund from $4,500,000 to $7 million. Passed, approved, and adopted the 7th day of January 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, you've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilman Gordon, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Carter. Comments or discussion?
I guess now, could we get somebody to elaborate on that a little bit for the citizens of Phoenix City, whoever that one said.
You want to talk on this?
I've written it.
Mayor and council, as the resolution says, we are increasing the cash reserve from $4.5 million to $7 million.
Way to show some enthusiasm.
So, what we've done is, we made sure in our plan that the city would always be ready for any type of emergencies and protecting itself for the future. And we have a separate one. This is emergencies. We also have one for debt service also we put up. But it was a goal of ours years ago to try to make sure we done that. So I took over the city manager. We was cashing in the CD to make payroll. So we have come a long ways in Phoenix City, a long way. So the intention, and one of my goals before I got out of here as far as emergency funds was reach the $10 million mark. You always have to keep striving to set different goals. And that has nothing to do with our regular day-to-day funding that we have to make sure we can do the things we're doing for our citizens and for these departments to operate. So it's been, it's ironic and it's a weird situation the way we come about so many funds. And it's because of a lot of things that's happened over the past 5 years. You know, while we had a serious problem with COVID, our government was releasing a lot of funds to people, and they weren't spending it. So our tax base increased tremendously. The forecasting of what we would bring in per year, a lot of time exceeded itself over every year lately. And it's hard, you know, to look and say, look, when is this going to level off? But what counteract that was the aggressiveness of bringing people here, and thank Sean Culligan and his team too. A lot of recruitment of businesses here at the same time. That's your tax base that's been building all around us too. So we had a great formula, a great perfect storm as far as coming out on top revenue-wise to take care of things. We have a big increase in the things we do now. Everything that you build and take care of now is 3 times more. We're thinking of
fix we would have been in if we didn't have this. So we got to be very appreciative of Phenix City for what we have. And it's worked out for us because we try to stay in front of it. So we want to make sure that, my job is to make sure that you all don't have any problem with funding in the city. So we can do most of the things, the past several buildings that we built here and things that we're getting ready to build and take care of now, we've been able to pay cash on all of those. And that's unheard of. We wanted to pay our debt service down over the past few years. We hadn't been to bond market to borrow any money. We didn't have to. Future plans is to take care of some of those because we have to build up additional fire stations and we have some things we have to do. But for right now, we've been able to pay our debt down tremendously. At the same time, increase our revenue and our funding and emergency funds. I thank y'all for giving me room to operate like that. So you have to have room to operate because if you don't, you can't achieve those goals. So y'all get yourself a hand on that. I appreciate it.
And one thing I brag about Mr. Hunter, everywhere I go, I say we have a government rating.
That's
and
correct.
maintain that 120 days, you know. And that's a plus, and that's a lot of cities cannot do that, can't say that.
No, sir. Next month, next month, in the state of the city, when you all get that, people will be able to see financial shape that we are in. But at the same time, we battle a lot of different things as far as a different type of workforce and what we have to do to obtain these things and accomplish a lot of things, you know. We're dealing with one thing on one side where, you know, in reading 30% of the people that we hire throughout the United States don't make it past 1 year. And that real decrease this year, but 30% won't make it past 6 months. So having a steady workforce in place to do and accomplish the things we need to accomplish, we have to keep studying, we have to keep moving. There's no time you can take off from it if you're going to achieve something. So it's still fun.
The challenge.
With the challenge, yes sir. So I'm trying to find ways to be. Thank you.
It's always a great combination when you paying down your debt pretty rapidly and increasing your reserve or your savings. But I would say each time that we've increased this reserve, it's always been 50%, and this year's almost 56% increase, which is should say something about the financial situation of the city. However, you know, we have to stay on our knees, and I say this on our knees praying that, you know, things can happen that it can change everything, what we would have to do is, but the good thing about it, we seem to be right now in a very, very good position, so.
And I want to thank you all for that. It only takes a small catastrophe.
Yep.
To change
Exactly.
the position that we're in, but we will be prepared. And so y'all won't have to go through some of the things people saying, accusing,
Still.
and it would be me that they have to accuse of putting up too much money out. They're an operating fund that we are operating off today that has nothing to do with the fund that's $44 million.
This
So
is the emergency
the
fund.
city is nowhere near broke.
This is an emergency fund.
What is in good shape.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Anything else? If not, call for the vote, Mrs. Davis.
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, council on the fire department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing and directing the mayor and city manager to sign a prepaid competitive bid contract agreement with Sunbelt Fire Corporation for 2 custom pumper fire apparatus mounted on a custom E1 Typhoon chassis in a total not to exceed $1,823,987. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas Phoenix City Fire Rescue has solicited a price through the HGAC competitive bidding process as required under the Alabama bid law. And whereas the competitive bidder meeting the specifications for 2 custom pumper fire apparatus mounted on a custom E1 Typhoon chassis in the amounts of $867,751 for the first and $858,750 for the second for the fire department is Sunbelt Fire Inc. And whereas E1 will offer an additional discount of $83,910 per pumper if 2 are ordered and paid for upfront, bringing the price of the first pumper to $783,841 and the second pumper to $774,840. And whereas the equipment for each pumper will be required at a cost of $132,653 for a total cost of $265,306. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize and direct the mayor and city manager to accept and sign the prepaid competitive bid contract agreement for 2 custom pumper fire apparatus mounted on a custom E1 Typhoon chassis with equipment for a bid total of $1,823,987 from Sunbelt Fire, Inc., provided it meets the specifications required. Passed, approved, and adopted this 7th day of January, 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, we've heard the resolution. At this time, I'd like to ask the council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Davis. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Ward. Comments or discussion?
Yes, Mayor, we were gonna ask somebody to look over the system, Phoenix City. Although this is a high dollar item, we still save it.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, these 2 trucks are trucks that are in our 5-year master plan. All our major projects are in those plans that we turn in every year. We've always had a replacement program for our fire apparatus. We try to replace them within 10 years. Like I said yesterday, with the training facility being a must, we did the best we could to get that out of the way first before I came back. Seeing as how much these trucks cost today, as well as how much the training facility costs to build, I wanted to wait as long as I could before I brought that back to Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter asked me to find out about if we were able to order 2 at the same time, what kind of price we could get, and so E1 is offering an additional, like the resolution says, $83,910 per truck. In 2018, we ordered engine 4. It was $575,000. So you can see throughout the years they're not going to do anything but increase. When we purchased the platform a few years ago, it was a little over $1.2 million. You can't buy an aerial truck now for under $2 million. So these 2 trucks individually will be over $1 million with the equipment, whereas they're giving us a little bit of a discount in the long run. It's about $187,000, including the equipment. So that's why I'm bringing this to you now.
And how long,
It'll take, in years past when we ordered these trucks, it took a year to build. The contract that I gave you says they're saying 1,300 days. They wanted to be as cautious as possible in case they ran into any problems, but at the current time, they're taking 2 years to build. So we're doing everything we can to keep our current trucks, our front run pumpers on the road. We do have backup trucks that we keep maintained when those go down, so hopefully we'll be okay, and we can get to the 2-year mark when these should be finished.
Chief, on another note, always ask about the training facilities out there.
Yes,
The
sir.
training facilities finished, you said, is that right? Are we able to invite other municipalities to come train those?
Yes, sir. We have a recruit school going on right now with a total of 5 different departments that are involved, and they're going to graduate the 21st.
And these folks from out of town?
They're from surrounding departments that we have agreements with for training.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Very good.
You know, and then also I'll say that the way we normally did this is, we would wait until the end of the project to pay for the trucks. And you would have to see whatever finance, interest rates were available at the time, the city's credit rating, and naturally brings that down. But we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, much less what's gonna happen 2 years down the road. So this was just an incentive and a way for us to go ahead and get this taken care of a little bit bit cheaper now.
Well, the cost shouldn't change with us doing it this way, where if we wait 2 years or 6 months or 9 months, and then you really got to just renegotiate at that time for the amount of because you can't use the figures that you first sat down and made your budget work with. And that's another one of the things Mr. Hunt was talking about, that we try to keep money set aside where we can pay for certain things going forward, going ahead, get them out of the way. This is all necessities that the city's gonna need, not today, we're covered, but in the future, and then especially if we, get to looking further down the line at other fire stations located in different parts of the city, we're gonna need new stuff, plus some stuff that will back up, remand stations and everything, 'cause that's fire department, police department, two departments, you can't start stealing from each other. And make the people work. You might can do that with other organizations within the city, but those two are especially trained for special needs. And those needs are some of the most important, if not the most important, in the city on fire safety.
Well,
And just gotta have it.
once the contract is signed for the trucks, that price shouldn't change. But the equipment can change.
It can.
If we don't do something now. And they're giving us, almost $10,000 discount for each truck if you go ahead and sign that up front.
Well, sometimes they move us to the front of the list too, on something being built, where if you get that, possibly if you go in and just say, well, we'll sign up to get one of the next 10 trucks built. But if you pay for something up front, sometimes it moves you to the front of that list.
Well, and then too, we don't have that in our capital, a payment for a truck or 2 trucks. It's gonna be several $100,000 for the next 5 years down the road.
Right.
So, the city doesn't have to worry about that. And that we're just absolutely, like Chief Hunter said, we're just absolutely fortunate that the city is in the financial standing that it is, that it can undertake an expense like this. Much less paying cash for the training facility. So,
All this in our favor.
thank you very much. We're looking
Yes.
at a different world than we did in the past, in our time in the fire department.
Let me ask you something else, Chief. I noticed, you spoke about, a while back, once we get the training facility finished and all the stuff in place, that will affect the fire department grade in the future.
Yes, sir.
And also affect the insurance of this.
Yes, sir, we needed a training facility for ISO, just like Mr. Bailey alluded to, with the fire stations that we currently have, we have to mount, we have to have equipment, we have to have backup equipment for those trucks. We're gonna have to have that for every other fire station that we build. So it's good that we do have reliable equipment currently that we can use, maybe to get us, whomever the chief is, or the city manager is, get to that point down the road. But, yes, sir, all that affects the ISO rating. And the ISO rating is gonna be affected even more, once additional fire stations are built. It will help lower the overall rating.
And it gives your department a better grade with all this stuff.
Yes, sir. But ultimately affecting the city.
That's what I'm trying to put us in a position for. We have to build another fire station. Not only that, the location of the layman, building a station, equipment, getting there, and then at the minimum, hiring 12 people at the minimum. So we've set ourselves up budget-wise and everything to make sure we can take that on easily, and it won't put any strain on the city's budget. So that's where we are with the next step.
Man, talk about that.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. If there's not any other comments or discussion, at this time I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, Council on the Utilities Department is a resolution in reference to authorizing and directing the mayor and city manager to have Southern Rewinding to perform the necessary repairs to get the high service pump to back in operation of an estimated amount of $35,350. Mrs. Davis.
Whereas emergency work is required on the high service pump 2 to get it back in operation. And whereas it is necessary that this work be performed as expeditiously as possible to try to prevent water loss to the northern area of our water system and ensure public safety. And whereas the electrical motor is old, not operational, and needs to be replaced. And whereas Southern Rewinding and Sales has submitted an estimate of $10,350 to install and balance a new motor. And whereas the pump needs to be repaired. And whereas Southern Rewinding has given us a verbal estimate of $25,000 for the maximum cost to repair the pump. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Phenix City, Alabama does hereby authorize and direct the mayor and city manager to hire Southern Rewinding to perform the necessary repairs to get the high service pump 2 back in operation for the estimated amount of $35,350. Passed, approved, and adopted the 7th day of January 2025.
Thank you again, Mrs. Davis. Council, you've heard the resolution. I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Carter, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Day. Comments or discussion?
Just a question, I understand the difference between verbal and written, but why do we have part of that in verbal agreement? For what reason? I mean, I don't understand what the reason is, is what I'm asking.
They took a couple of years under right because they hadn't even pulled the pump yet, when they gave us that. They pulled the pump Thursday and taken it to see what needs to be prepared. They gave us, we asked like, what would be the high end?
Just trying to get some idea going, it's what we got to do anyway, just to get us somewhere in the ballgame.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out why, one I'm sure would be, spot on, and the other one is ballparkish, but they're gonna be real close and gonna be,
They gave us
almost exact. They probably gave us the worst scenario, to be honest with you, what most people do when they look at something.
that's what we asked them to give us, what they thought the high end would be.
Right.
On the verbal stuff.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Councilman Day. Any other comments, discussion? Not, Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordy?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceeding on, council on the ordinance. We have a public hearing, the second reading. Council, I will not ask the clerk to reread the public hearing or the notice, but at this time, I would like to declare this as a public hearing in reference to the repeal of the zoning ordinance. And if there's anyone that would like to come and address the council for this purpose, reason, now is the time to do so. Call on, anybody? Yeah, he ate several bowls of it too.
They're gonna put them on the reading.
So I need to, I don't know.
It's done fine, how are you?
This is for us. Is anything?
No, sir, only strictly for this. If you want to come and address the council, you need to do that through our work session. And our next work session will be on the 21st, but you need to contact our clerk's office, saying why you.
I did on YouTube as well, and they told me that, I'm good at that.
Who told you that?
Well, I made a complaint to the road.
Well, they should not have.
Right.
Depends on what it was about.
Right.
Depends on what the concern is.
Right.
Chatting, they need to find out from that and find out what we're talking about.
Okay, but what you do, our next work session is on the 21st. But before that work session, the Wednesday before that work session, you need to contact our clerk office requesting.
And you can see Miss Tanya Williams right there with the great, and she'll get you some information.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter.
Yes.
Thank you. But this is strictly for the zoning. Anyone? Okay, so if there's no one that would like to come and address the council at this time, I am declaring this public hearing closed. So with that, now, we can break.
Sorry about that, Dave.
Yeah, you probably ate several bowls of weaknesses.
That's fine. I just wanted to come forward with the zoning ordinance. We've been working with KBS Group on our comprehensive plan. So we finished that. Now we're going to zoning ordinance. This is our final proposal for that. We did have Jason Bond review the KBS Group, and I'd like Jason just ask Jason to come up, just hit some highlights on things that we can, we'll print for it if you don't mind.
Thank you, Ray. Good morning, council. Just very quickly, I'd just like to say that over the last year, we've been working with staff and going through the ordinance in detail, looking for areas where it needs to be updated, discrepancies corrected, some reorganization to make it flow better, make it easier to find things, both from the standpoint of staff, and interpreting administrators, as well as property owners, developers, understanding and finding the regulations that apply to what they're trying to do. Wanted to make sure that the zoning ordinance is consistent with state and federal rules and regulations. We've taken care of those issues. Added regulations on uses that had not previously been addressed, such as short-term rentals, bed and breakfasts, mini storage, tattoo parlors, telecommunication towers. So a lot of things that just haven't really been addressed previously in zoning ordinance. That was done, as I mentioned, making sure that the ordinance is consistent with state and federal regulations. We spent a good bit of time on the sign regulations, making sure that they comply with a lot of things that have happened in terms of First Amendment case law in the last several years. So those regulations should be upheld if there are any concerns with those. Update the parking regulations, make sure that they're a little more flexible in terms of mixed-use development. There's a shared-use parking calculator for reductions in parking requirements for mixed-use developments that we put in there, and update the landscaping regulations, and spend some time on the corridor overlay. I think there were some adjustments to the areas where the corridor overlay requirements would be applied. We cleaned up some of the language in terms of the design standards, the building material standards, and the overlay districts. Just a full clean sweep throughout the entire ordinance. I think it's overall better organized. It's a little simpler and easier to read. The regulations are generally going to be more reasonable and easier to understand. I think the staff did a good job helping me work through discussing the issues that they run across over the years and giving a nice update ordinance out of this. If you have any questions.
Any questions, council?
Yeah, I got a couple. The things that are listed here that where it says use, specific regulations may be added or whatever. All of those things, I guess, some of them were listed in the original stuff. Some of the stuff wasn't maybe specifically worded in the original one that we're trying to replace. So they just kind of come in to make them more understandable, I guess is one way of reading it. And then down at the bottom, on somebody's handwriting, I can read that because it looks a lot like my handwriting. Oh, I can read somebody's letters around here because they can't sneak it by me. Mine's terrible. But anyhow, explain that to me on the existing businesses, limited on the existing businesses to 6 months when they are to the correct zoning and everything. What does that have to do with exactly? This is added to the bottom. This one is not quite.
So if a business is located in a zone in which that type of business is not permitted.
The reason I'm asking, I own one of them type businesses, so that's why I'm concerned. And a lot of businesses downtown are that way because they're older businesses in an area that is designed for, I guess, future development is what I'm trying to say.
There's a 6-month period if the business closes and there are failed to renew business license, or there are actions or inactions by the business during that 6-month time period indicate that they are abandoning that operation, then it cannot be.
Or changes that type of operation from right now from a car lot to a tax store.
Yes.
Now, right now, I'm assuming we got what, maybe a year that it goes on there? So this is going to shorten it by 6 months. So it's more limited. Right, okay. I mean, that's what I'm trying to think, because I don't want to get some phone calls on it.
Okay.
And reason being is because I'm in the same situation, and so I'm assuming that I'm by no means the smartest person in this room. in any room, probably in my own house when I'm in the room by myself. But, but being in business, I'm sure there's no call, how does this affect us, you know, and it affects me, so I'm assuming they feel like that I will understand and certainly hopefully ask a question that would be pertaining to what they may call an action.
So
It really don't affect you, see, you can't forget.
Well, I know, I do what I'm doing.
You're open though, it's a difference, what we're trying to clean up is where people just.
But I'm still a business that is not zoned in for the, you know, it's not in the proper
So
zone.
my question is this, just like Mr. Bailey, business across the street, it's called a grandfather in. And that's also what other bid grandfather in, God will location they were in.
Their grandfather in, but if they close, then they can lose that grandfather status after a certain time.
After
I
6 months.
mentioned downtown, there was one thing I did not mention that I think will be is a great improvement to the ordinance, is that we did make the use regulations for the C1 for commercial district much more flexible. Businesses can open by right without having to go through a lot of administrative procedures to get approvals to open up things that you want to have now.
Business, I see one.
Let me also ask, under the added standards for, how would you define nighttime homes?
Nighttime homes, there is a definition there that comes from the Department of Human Resources. So we're just borrowing the definition for that. But that would be a nighttime care facility for children after 7 p.m. So people who work at night will utilize these types of services to have childcare in the evenings. Some may be overnight, or may just be some period after 7 p.m. because daycare is up until 7.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Let me ask you another question.
Yes, sir.
RV park and campground, does that, like somebody come in the city, like park an RV over there for night for training and the landscape, how did that affect this campground? Campground is not over
These regulations would apply to a site that is developed for multiple RVs to be utilized for, overnight stays. Just set standards for those. They're allowed in certain zoning districts and not in others. It includes minimum space requirements for each RV that you provide accommodations for, that there's sanitary disposal, there's restroom facilities, things like that.
So like a temporary use?
Yes, sir. Well, the park itself is
Yeah,
I was afraid I say temporary because I remember when we had the RV right over here, temporary, I think, for training over there and the whitewater course.
I just want to make sure something like that is still
That's-
only
that's-
allowed in certain
city.
zones. It's not like it's probably added RV and stuff like that. We did that because we had some definitions that we needed to clean up and make specific, but it's still all based in certain zones. I mean, it's not like you're gonna go and have an RV park
Yeah, it's not
in the
banned
middle
in
of
the
the
whole
R1
city.
district.
It's just certain places that it's not allowed, and other places it is, it's not the whole city of Manning, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, lady. There's no other comments or discussion at this time. I can call for the vote. Mr. Davis?
Got a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe, like that, one motion at this time.
Call for motion this time.
Motion, Councilman Day, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Gordon. So we've already had the discussions. With that, I can call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Gordon. Proceeding on the ordinance, first reading. We have an ordinance to amend section 4416-C of the Merit System Rules and Regulations of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama. Mrs. Davis.
An ordinance to amend sections 4.16C of the Merit System Rules and Regulations of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, that the merit system rules and regulations of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama, Sections 4.16 are hereby amended as follows. Section 4.16 benefits and services. Health and dental insurance. After completion of the required waiting period as defined by the participating plan, the city will offer regular full-time and regular probationary employees health and dental insurance. Those employees hired in seasonal positions shall be subject to a 12-month measurement period to qualify for insurance. Employees eligible for coverage shall contribute no more than 10% of the total individual premium, but not exceeding the prescribed percentage of the federal government as determined by the IRS. The city will cover 100% of the individual premium for employees electing to participate in the annual wellness screening. Dependent coverage will also be offered. The city will pay 1/2 of the cost, and the employee will contribute 1/2 of the cost of dependent coverage. When an employee is on leave without pay, the City of Phoenix City will pay the individual health insurance premiums, as well as 1/2 of the dependent coverage on an employee for a period of 6 months after the employee has exhausted all annual and sick leave benefits. After this time, if the employee wishes to remain on group policy, it will be their responsibility to reimburse the city for the cost of this premium prior to the billing due date for the group. If premium is not paid by the 25 of the following month, coverage will be discontinued. The city shall provide regular full-time employees hired prior to January 1st, 2013 who retire from the city with the same health and dental insurance as provided to active regular full-time employees. Dependent coverage shall also be offered. However, the retired employee will contribute 100% of the cost of the dependent's coverage. The cost of the retired employee shall be paid by the city as follows. 50% paid by the city for 10 years of service at age 60 or more. 60% paid by the city for 15 years of service at age 60 or more. 70% paid by the city for 20 years of service at age 60 or more. 85% paid by the city for 25 years of service, any age. 100% paid by the city for 30 years of service or more, any age. The city shall provide regular full-time employees hired on or after January 1st, 2013 who retire from the city with the same health and dental insurance as provided to active regular full-time employees. Dependent coverage shall also be offered. However, the retired employee will contribute 100% of the cost of the dependent's coverage. The cost of the retired employee shall be paid by the city as follows. 25% paid by the city for 10 years of service at age 60 or more. 50% paid by the city for 15 years of service at age 60 or more. 65% paid by the city for 20 years of service at age 60 or more. 75% paid by the city for 25 years of service. Any age, 90% paid by the city for 30 years of service or more, any age. It will be the responsibility of the retired employee to reimburse the city their share of the cost of the premium due prior to the billing due date for the group. If premium is not paid by the 25 of the following month, coverage will be discontinued. Be it further ordained that this ordinance shall become effective February 1st, 2025 for payroll deductions applying to March 2025 coverage. Be it further ordained that all laws or parts of the laws in conflict herein are hereby repealed. If any part of this ordinance or the merit system rules and regulations is declared invalid or unconstitutional, such declaration shall not affect the parts which remain. Passed. Members of the City Council of the City of Phoenix City, Alabama.
Okay. Council, we've heard the reading, first reading. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please, to place on first reading.
Motion to place on first reading.
I have a motion from Councilman Gordon, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Carter. Okay, comments or discussion? Like I said, this is extremely good for this vote. So if no other comments or discussion, I'd like to call for the vote. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proceeding on council on the license application. This is also a second reading. This application for a bail bonding company license submitted by Brian Cole for Preview Bail Bonds Incorporation, located at 1810 3rd Street South, Suite 8, Phoenix City, Alabama. The first reading was on the 17th of December last month. I'm not going to ask you first to reread it. However, at this time, I'd like to ask the council for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Day. May I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Miller. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Also proceeding on the license application, this is also a second reading. We're not asking for to reread. However, it is an application for bail bonding company license submitted by Brian Cole for Mr. Bail Incorporation, located at 1810 3rd Street South, Suite 8, Phoenix City, Alabama. First reading also was on the 17th of December last month. Clerk will not be asked to read this, but I will ask this council for a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Councilman Gordon. May I have a second? Second, Councilman Day. Okay. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Council, on the first reading, we have an application for bail bonds company license submitted by Joshua C. Singleton for Blessed Bail Bonds located at 127 Lee Road, 2209, Salem, Alabama. Mrs. Davis.
I have 4 letters. First letter coming from Municipal Court Clerk, Ms. Ruby White. Dear Ms. Davis, this letter is in reference to the application submitted by Joshua C. Singleton for Blessed Bail Bonds LLC located at 127 Lee Road, 2209, Salem, Alabama 36874. Municipal Court has no objections to the approval of this license. Second letter coming from Chief Stottinger of the Police Department. Reference Blessed Bail Bonds, Joshua C. Singleton, 127 Lee Road, 2209, Phenix City, Alabama 36874. I have reviewed this application for bonding company license, and I have no objection to the issuance of this license to this applicant based upon his criminal background investigation. Third letter coming from Fire Chief Kristen H. Kennedy. Ms. Davis, this letter is in reference to the application submitted by Joshua C. Singleton for Blessed Bail Bonds LLC located at 127 Lee Road, 2209, Salem, Alabama 36874. The applicant has applied for a new business license for a bonding company. However, this address is not located within Phenix City Fire Rescue's jurisdiction. Fourth letter coming from Chief Building Official Ray Rogers. Dear Ms. Davis, this letter is in reference to the application submitted by Blessed Bail Bonds located at 127 Lee Road, 2209, Salem, Alabama 36874 for a bonding company license. This facility is located outside the building department's policing jurisdiction. This office has no objections to the approval of this license. That concludes all 4 letters.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Council, we've all read the first reading. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to place on first reading.
Motion to place on first reading.
I have a motion, Councilman Davis, I have a second.
Second.
Second, Councilman Moore. Okay. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to call on our attorney, Mr. Brandon.
Morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
One claim on the agenda, Joe, and this is supplemental claim filed by Joshua Welch. We had approved this claim that he filed back last year. Once they got into taking the vehicle apart and repair it, they discovered additional damage that they could not see before. They submitted a supplemental or a supplement to their original appraisal, and it's the 237.86, and I would recommend that we pay that claim with that amount.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brandon. Council, we've heard the recommendation from our attorney. At this time, I'd like to ask the council for a motion to approve that recommendation.
Motion to approve.
All right. Motion by Councilman Gordon, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Davis. Okay. Mrs. Davis?
Councilmember Day?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brandon. Again, thank you, everyone. Being here. Some of the precincts, it's great day, and great opportunity, so with that, the council member, anything we want to add or take away before I call on the city manager?
Just want to say, we look forward to the new year. Hope it's going to be a real good year. Hope it'll be a safe year for us. A lot of things happening over the holidays, with terrorist attacks, cars blowing up in Las Vegas, lost an ex-president. All that's just part of life. I don't know how in the world our police department, our sheriff departments, our fire departments, and first responders and all, to keep us any more safe than to do work full time and do it now. But their lives on the line every day. But just as regular citizens, I guess like I always say, and I heard Mr. Dave say, you see something, say something. You see something out of the ordinary, mention it to somebody. Most of the time it would be false. Would be something that we have to be worried about. That one time that it is, or that one time that something could be fixing to happen. And it can happen in any city. It's not just your large city, it's anywhere. Somebody say something might save some lives. Keep all of the military and the first responders and our local people and national people in prayers that do these jobs. They get in harm's way. Probably except for the police officer down in New Orleans, that would have been a lot worse than what it was. The only way it could be worse than what it was would be to harm other people, because the people that did harm and the families that get touched, it could be more devastating than them already. And keep all them in our prayers. We need to heal this nation, get this nation back to caring for each other, loving each other, and trusting each other, become, as we say in our pledge, one nation under God. We have just slammed God. That is just completely went by the way, and people just, I don't know what's in people's minds anymore. But we're a country, we're people. As I told the mayor earlier today, we look different, we talk different, we live in different places, but we're not different. We are the same people. We're all made by God. We're all created equal. We're all put here for the same purpose. We all share the same air, we're going to share the same ground one day. It is no difference in who we are. We just perceive to ourselves to be different, but we are not different. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other council member? None. Mr. Hahn?
Well, Mayor, I concur with Councilman Bailey and already elaborated on, and it is so true. I'd like to speak to the citizens here in Phenix City. We are embarked on a new year for 2025. The rest of the meeting, I'll be ready to live and see 2025. But I'd like to invite the citizens of Phenix City, all citizens of Phenix City, come down to the meeting, get involved in your city, especially these meetings, meetings that we have, like the planning commission, the zoning board, the council, get involved. But this is your city, and you have to say so, but you're a taxpayer here in the city. I said this on the emancipation program, and this is what we got to do. We got to come home and find out what's going on in our city, not get in certain community or then certain, certain areas start talking about it, but don't have the facts about it. I invite anybody, all citizens, to come out to the clerk office or mayor or the city manager office and get the facts for yourself. That's all I have to say. And so, Mayor, I'd like to also add this, all those retirements like Captain Kevin and other gentlemen. We want to thank them for their service here, along with Chief Smith. I know he retired a weeks ago, but I'd like to thank them for their service as well.
All right. Mr. Hahn?
I'd like to thank y'all for everything that was passed today. I appreciate that. We try to keep our city moving good. But it's a lot of things, it's 2025, it's a lot of things that we have to do. And it's a lot of things we can do for our citizens. There's been a lot of new laws that took effect in January that they passed through the state that's going to help a lot of citizens through businesses this year, deal with child care and workforce development, working with a lot of the people that, because a lot of our employees have kids, so we have to see which way it works with us as far as tax credits and the things we have to do as far as looking at National Guard, Bill 209, looking at the exemption tax credits for that. So all these different things, if it's put out there, the information is disseminated in a proper way, we can do things. And in our audience, I know in fact, we have Miss Loretta Rose, and I'm going to be approaching you to try to help us get one of our people, whether it's HR or someone on our citizens. Because that's what a lot of this misinformation is on the streets. And so if we're determined to set a good goal this year to make sure that we can eliminate some of this false chatter, that we're out there day in and day out trying to make things better for the life of our citizens. That's it. Part of the things is being honest and correct. We're a government. If governments years ago would apply public revenue and everything else to all people, we wouldn't have some of these problems. Okay, and that's what we're doing, still trying to heal and trying to be honest throughout and making sure everybody is seen about in the proper way. Not my way that's proper or anything else, but what's written and what's policies and procedures that's there. And that's what I think we have to hone in on to make sure that we're working and they know we're working for them. That's a goal. That should be a goal that all of us that's working here set for 2025 to do what we can to help people and do the things with, looking at the future of things, looking at Phenix City. Not only have we changed it a lot and making sure people throughout the country not only know where Phenix City is at, but at the same time understand that we're working every day to have a better city. And coming soon, we got to do, and I see Ms. Henry over there, and she's doing a good job. And I always pick different people out, and I see different things that people are doing. We're going to need a new library in Phenix City. We have to look at different areas, renewable areas, and say, where's the land and space that we put these things, and what are we going to integrate with that now? What are we going to put there as far as taking care of bringing kids in, citizens, whether young or old, to take care of? There's some things that, we got to work aggressively at. A lot of times people tell you to take your foot off the gas. Well, my muscles haven't went bad yet. So it's a matter of keeping, you gotta burn that midnight oil, and you gotta continuously do things that keep you feeling better. If you're doing the things that we're supposed to do as far as helping our community. So we won't have those complaints. I love to eliminate people who saying they're being overlooked to the point to where you get out there and say, okay, here are these programs, here you go, where are you now? Let's make sure, you haven't been bypassed in any kind of way, and that's our job. And it's our job every day. You don't get a day off of it. You might get a little blame, but you don't get a day off of it until you just don't really not want to get home. But I hope all of us can continue our path and what we did last year and stay, progressive, aggressive, every kind of aggressive you can find to do the things that we should be doing for our citizens. And hopefully we'll have some help out there with some people. I wish we had a bigger audience. When y'all talk about the things that people are saying out there, I don't understand how they're saying it when they're not sitting here to listen to it or inquire about it or find out about it. There's a lot of very smart people here that can go over it with them and let them see and point the way where they can read it for themselves and study and understand. So that way you can challenge us with what's there in a way of helping each other, not in a way of being adversaries to one another. That just keep everything spinning in one circle, and we're not progressing and following what we should go. So, I know sometimes I talk too much in this particular job that I'm trying to do, but I just see what if they're not going to let up on negativity, I'm not going to let up on positivity. That's the way that's going to go.
We get in on forward too.
That's right. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to say this, as I had the opportunity to travel across the state of Alabama and other places, always brag about our city manager. I said, our city manager just down make our job, make it easier, and he does a fantastic job. Now, I'm gonna say this, Mayor, I know 2024, there's a few times on the weekend, I had some issues, and I called our city manager at the Southside Park, at the office of the park. I called the city manager, and I know when I call him on the weekend, he said, well, what you got this thing? And he does a good job making our job easier, Mayor, and I want to get that proper way to do. Thank you.
Well, when you make the commitment, you make the commitment. And around you. And that's you have to build a life around. You know, your family is integrated in it too, so that's part of it. You know, we see out each other. That's what we have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. I would just like to close it by saying, again, Happy New Year to everyone. And I would like to pose this question that not, I guess, rhetorically, and don't have to answer, but just ask yourself, and I'm speaking to everyone who's here and everyone that may be watching it, but even for this outstanding city in the city is, why were you and me and all of us allowed to see another year? Just ask yourself that. So, but what I want to do is challenge everyone for this year, and I have been thinking about this, that I want us all to step up, all of us, inclusively. Every person in this community, every person working for the city, council member, everyone, because it's time for us to step up, because there are so many, as Councilman Bailey said, there's so many tactics out there to try to conquer us, this city, by dividing us. So I want us to step up and push back against that strongly. I used to say don't wait 30 seconds later, but don't wait 10 seconds later. We have to step up to keep this community going forward. And if we don't, then everything that we've done can all be demised quickly. We want to set a tone, we want to set a precedent that whoever comes after us, that they have to rise up to that level. So I want to just challenge all of us to step up for what's right. Let's not be divided. There are a lot of evil people out there, as Councilman Bailey stated, about people doing things. Well, let's just learn how not to be and show more compassion and have the compassion as well as the passion, as Mr. Hunter has just been talking about, with all our responsibilities, particularly in this room, particularly for the people working in the city, but it's also the responsibility of each citizen. Because we are only as good as the people around us. So I want to just say thank you, Happy New Year, thanks CTV Beans for bringing this, but I do want to challenge us all to step up for the sake of each other and for the sake of the whole. So with that, we do stand adjourned. Thank you all so much.